Well, in the first place, man, thank you very much for your time. It's I know this is not so easy, and you were so kind to do this interview. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for asking me. I apologize. Sometimes I get the mails all mixed up with Instagram.
No, no, no. I
Okay.
didn't really expect you were answering.
Really? Oh no. I answer everybody, even if they
Yeah.
send me a nasty message.
Great, great. Well, uh, I don't know. I don't know even where to start with you because you have such a long career. It's unbelievable the things you have
Yeah.
made in drumming and in as a musician. It's something incredible because it's not so
Thank you.
usual. It's not so usual a drummer being a kind of artist you are.
Okay.
How did this come up? This kind of great drummer, but at the same time a great showman. It's not so usual.
Yeah. You mean having a strong personality?
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from. I guess when I was in school, when I was a kid, I used to be like a class clown. I used to like to joke around. I like to have fun, But some of the musicians you work with, they don't like to have so much fun.
Hmm.
So, and they don't like it when the guy in the back is having a lot of fun. So,
Hmm.
for all the good things that have happened because of my strong personality, some bad things have happened too.
Uh-huh.
But I don't care. I mean, I play the way I feel. I like to have fun. I see the people there. They paid their money for a show. I give them a show. Some people say, "Oh, you're twirling the sticks." A lot of drummers. I started posting in these drum groups on Facebook, and all these drummers are like, "Hey, man, why don't you join the circus?" It's like, yeah, I am in a circus. I'm in a rock band. I'm in
Uh-huh.
show business. Okay, if you want to sit there in the back and do this, fine. But then you wonder why everyone's watching the DJ. There's 80,000 people watching a DJ. The guy's got one headphone on. He's not twirling. He's not doing anything.
You know,
Press play.
anyway, I think it's a little bit strange that rap musician, heavy metal musician, they shouldn't be so uh, conservative. We could say orthodox. I don't know how you do it. How you say it. It's
I
strange.
agree. A lot of them are very. I wouldn't say all, but many are closed-minded, and they have this set of rules of what is metal. And actually, I think with that mentality, they're killing their own genre of music. They're killing
Yeah,
it because
yeah,
it's all the same. Digga 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 digga. Wah.
yeah. And
Ah.
I think one guy called a drummer, bass player, guitar player. Anyway, uh, a guy who steps out of the road in a show. It's something fun. It's something nice.
Yeah.
Even better if the this in this case talking about a drummer. If the drummer plays really, really good, and besides gives you a funny show, what's better than that?
When I was in Rage, I had a lot of trouble. I was a band member, and there was always a discussion about the drum solo. And I said, guys, I don't hear anyone booing. No one's boo. No one's throwing eggs at me. The people were clapping. They were happy, but they were jealous. So, time
Yeah.
to go. What can I do? I mean, but
Rage was a serious point with this.
yeah, but you know what's interesting about these two guys? Both of them like Dream Theater, and both of them like Rush. And
Hmm.
those are two bands that are run by drummers, basically.
Hmm.
Mike Portnoy was running Dream Theater,
Uh-huh.
and Neil Peart is a big part of Rush. You
Of
go to a
course.
Rush show, you don't get a drum solo, people complain. So I really had trouble to understand them. And after a while, I said, "Bye, ciao,
Oh. Yeah.
au revoir."
Is there let's leave beside this the musicians. Let's talk about the fans. The fans obviously here in South America, the fans are really crazy with these kind of shows. But
Yeah.
is it different in other places, Europe, for example?
Oh yeah, yeah. The crowds are different in every country. Every country is has their own way of appreciating art, whether it's heavy metal or jazz or rock or you know. Even when I fly, sometimes I notice when I'm in an airport in a certain country, the people act differently. They behave in a characteristic group. I wouldn't say stereotype, but as you travel further north in Europe, the people are more quiet, they're more introspective, they're
Hmm.
reading. As you get to the south of Europe, the people are more wild,
Hmm.
Latino, hot-blooded, like in Latin America. The people, everybody on the phone. So you know, it's all different. I lived in Germany for 10 years. Good people there. They like their music, they like their beer, but they just have a maybe a little more. They have a different way of enjoying the music, but
Uh-huh.
they still give power. They still give
Uh-huh.
power. Yeah, more than
Great.
the American audiences, I think.
um, Talking about drumming,
Yeah,
I, you have several years in this, so
yeah,
you
several.
were you were a witness of how drumming was changing through the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's changing for sure.
And
Uh,
do you think nowadays drummers have maybe the tendency to sound so much the same between them in certain styles, especially inside metal and modern metal? They sound
yeah.
all the same. Do you think so?
Yeah, it's starting to happen that way, and it's not their fault. The problem is that everybody's watching everybody else on the internet.
Hmm.
You couldn't do that in the 70s. I mean, it's funny. Back in the late 80s, I was living in Los Angeles, and I used to practice in the same building where Scott Travis from Judas Priest used to practice. At the time, he was in a band called what's the name of the band with Paul Gilbert? Racer X.
Uh-huh.
And he was on one side of the building and I was on the other. So if I wanted to know what another drummer was doing, I had to go to his room. I never did that, but I would see him in the parking lot or something, and then we'd go our separate ways or whatever, say hello. But uh, now today, everyone can watch everyone practice. I don't want people to watch me practice. Practicing is my time alone to develop my show, my
Hmm.
techniques, and then I show them. I don't want everyone watching me copying, because then everyone's doing it before you can go out and do it. I think I think that's how I developed my own style. I had problems when I was younger trying to play things, and I solved those problems my own way. I'm self-taught. There was no internet, there was no drum teacher. There was only me and my instrument. And
Of course.
if you look at John Bonham, Keith Moon, Ginger Baker, these guys didn't take drum lessons. Ringo, none of them
Hmm.
took drum lessons.
Great.
Okay? None of them. Buddy Rich, probably the greatest drummer that ever walked the face of the planet, he can't read music.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He's a prodigy. Okay,
Hmm.
so God, or whoever made us gives us enough talent to sit down and do whatever we do. Whether we play sports, we play soccer, we play an instrument, you paint a picture, and then it's up to you to push it a little bit and maybe take it further and develop your own style. Having your own style is extremely important. If I said to you, name a famous artist, most people would say Salvador Dali because he's got
Hmm.
the mustache, right?
Hmm.
And this
Yeah.
crazy melt. I mean, Picasso.
Hmm.
They don't know the rest of the guys because they don't have an image.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's important to have an image, a style, and a voice, whatever you're doing, whatever art
Yeah.
form, sport.
Mike, you said something that left me thinking. You were saying
Mhm.
that the most of the time you're practicing alone, and
Yes.
for us, for the fans, the artist is something massive, something for the people. But
Yeah,
thinking the way you said, the most of the time the artist is doing his art alone.
it's true. Solitude. Can you
This
hear me?
is it's strange.
Yeah,
But
I'm here. I'm here all day. I'm playing drums all day, like 6, 7 hours a day. I'm practicing on that.
mhm.
That's where I practice. I'm alone here. If someone was living with me, they'd go crazy. I mean, I'm playing drums sometimes until the middle of the night, working on my. It's fun. I like to practice. I mean, the more you practice, the better you get. So, um, you need time alone. You need time to concentrate, and creativity doesn't come to you when there's people talking and the TV's on. I need to be in my own little world, you know. I'm happy. A lot of people would be, I think, people that are maybe non-creative, not to say that they're bad people, just people that have another way of living, they might not like this lifestyle too much because it's really a solitary lifestyle. Yeah, you have to
Mhm.
be. Yeah, I
Great,
enjoy
great.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Great, great. Well, going to this, we could say, young drummers, we could,
yeah.
modern drummers. Uh,
Sure.
there are some of them that are recognized as something revolutionary.
Hmm.
Let's talk about Meshuggah, for example.
Oh yeah.
Do you know them, and what do you think about the things he doing on rhythm?
Thomas Haka. He's a friend of
Hmm.
mine. Great drummer. Fantastic. I appreciate all drummers. You know, I don't play blast beats. I don't play death metal, but I have friends of mine that do that work, and they're very good. You know, I take my hat off to them. I celebrate their efforts, their creativity. I don't get mad about it. It's like I don't get mad if I can't play at 300 BPM. That's not my thing. But if someone can do it, I will sit there and watch it and go, "Wow, pretty cool." I mean, Dave Lombardo from Slayer, amazing. I don't know how he.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of work. It's cool.
Great. Um,
Yeah.
technology is a very important part of drumming today. What do you think is the limit? What do you think? Stop. This is it.
I don't think there is a limit. I think in 1981, I graduated from college. I have a degree in electrical engineering. And what's happened
Uh-huh.
from 1981 until now is frightening. And it's going faster and faster and faster. I just saw it yesterday that the Japanese have a robot that can ride a motorcycle at 200 kilometers an hour. Did you see
Mhm.
this?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
like the Terminator. It's like, and
It's
I'm like,
incredible. It's
well,
incredible.
yeah. So I mean, as long as they keep making faster chips and the internet gets faster, you and me would not be doing this 10 years ago. The
Uh-huh.
internet was too slow. So, I can talk to people all over the world. I have friends in China, I have friends in Latin America, Russia. Everybody's, talking like, hello, how are you on the other side of that screen? But that was not possible 20 years ago or 30
Uh-huh.
years ago. No.
Of
And,
course.
even now, relating back to the musicians and to all artists in general, to all musicians, the amount of information that's on the internet is ridiculous. And all the different practicing techniques, there's almost too much information. It's
Uh-huh.
almost confusing, overload. Like a click track, when you're in the studio, you play to a click track. Sometimes it's one of those things. We didn't have that in the 70s. The
Hmm.
only time you would hear this click track was if you went to a professional recording studio.
Uh-huh.
Now everything's a click track. It's in the recording program. It's on this machine. It's inside the
Yeah.
brain of that machine. So it's made all of the human beings more perfect,
Hmm.
and with the recording equipment now, I mean, I can make a record with this laptop. I've made several records on this
Hmm.
very machine that I'm talking to you. That
Hmm.
was impossible 20 years ago. I used to go to recording studios. There was a
Yeah.
guy looking smart, turning the knobs. Now I'm the guy. Look at me. I'm the guy. I mean, I actually, it was a couple of years ago. I was recording the first Ferryman record in my house. I had a house out in the country in Tuscany, and I was all alone, and I had the laptop, and I was playing, and I finished the song, and I was like, where did everybody go? Where's the producer? Where's the engineer? Where's the pretty girl with big boobs that used to make coffee for me? The secretary. They're all gone. It's just me. Me and my drums. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's totally
So,
different. Yeah.
yeah, who knows, man? I think when the internet speed gets bigger and if they keep locking us up in quarantine, people will be jamming on the internet in real time.
Hmm. Yeah,
We'll
maybe.
see what happens when they get the 5G, the dreaded 5G. Who knows what's going to happen?
But what do you think of when drummers, talking about drummers, could be
That's
any
okay.
musician,
Drummers.
could be any musician, use too much machines to make it seem he plays better than he can?
Well, uh, I had a lot of arguments about this when the realm of digital recording first started. We started making some Rage records with Pro Tools,
Hmm.
and they started moving everything, and I was like, "Why are you doing that?" Because we're making it perfect, and I'm like, "Yeah, just because it's perfect doesn't mean it's good. You're
Hmm.
destroying my groove. I put the kick and the snare where I feel it. And then the band plays on it. That's why when you listen to a Led Zeppelin record, it's very
Hmm.
organic. The,
Yeah.
the drummer, John Bonham, played, the bass player played on him, and it's moving, it's speeding up, it's human. Now the
Hmm.
music is not human. So, that to me, when you take a piece of music and you fix everything, auto tune, sampling on the drums, correcting the rhythms. That's to me is like taking a Picasso off the wall,
Yeah.
scanning it, and straightening out all the lines. I mean, Picasso could paint a real generic painting. The
Hmm.
the genius of his art was that he could take something and distort it in his mind and put it on the thing. That's what made it interesting. It's the same with music. That's
Yeah.
why people still listen to Jimi Hendrix.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a lot of mistakes, whatever, if you want to call it that, technical mistakes, not perfect. Why does it have to be perfect? So I think the technology now has said, well, you know, I'm not playing perfect. It sounds bad. So make it perfect. And
Uh-huh.
that doesn't really make it better. It actually makes it boring. Or someone's in the studio that shouldn't be in the studio, and this is happening a lot now too. Uh, and they fix everything and they drop in. You could not drop in. You couldn't punch drums in the 70s and 80s. It was
Hmm.
impossible. Sometimes I remember in the late 80s, we could punch in on a Studer tape machine, and the engineer had to anticipate, and I had to hit the crash. I had to play exactly the same. And he'd get me in and out. It was crazy, and the machine would
Uh-huh.
react. And sometimes it wouldn't work, and then they would cut the tape. So now it's just like splice, cut, move, copy, paste.
Yeah.
So, of course, people are going to use the technology. And of course, some people will misuse the technology. Human nature. Human nature.
Yeah, I like that that something is not good because it's perfect. It's not necessarily the same.
No, I mean, really, you can. A lot of guys, some drummers would give me, here's my band. Okay, I put it in, and it's like, and I'm like, after one song, I'm tired because it's a sample. It sounds like a machine gun. It's quantized. So
Yeah.
where's your self expression? Where's your voice? Where's your personality? What did you say on this record? Nothing, as
Of
far as I'm
course.
concerned. Technically
Yeah.
perfect, but for me, I'm from the '70s. That's not nice for my ear. You
But
know.
maybe it's easier than playing good.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's hard to play good.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to play good. Really, I practice all the time. Sometimes every record I make, there's always a song or a part of a song that's going to give you trouble,
Hmm.
and you have to. It could be slow, it could be fast, it could be an odd time, but there's always something that you have to solve, and that's what makes you better. And your way of solving it gives you your style, how you solve it.
Hmm.
There's more than one way to solve most problems. So maybe another drummer would play it differently. I find that interesting. Uh, my friend Jen Majura, she's the guitar player for Evanescence,
Mm-hmm.
and they just released their new record, and she gave me one of their songs to cover. And the drummer in the band is a very good drummer, and I liked his style was cool. So this guy plays really good. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of
Uh-huh.
my head. But when I recorded it, and she sent it to him, and he goes, "Wow, that's cool. That's interesting to watch someone else play what I played, but
Mm-hmm.
it's different. You know, he has a
Yeah.
different ideas. So that's kind of cool. Even when I've left some bands, I would see the band play with another drummer. You know, he'd be in my spot, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
watch, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't do that, but he did that." So, you know,
Yeah.
it's everyone. That's what's cool about drums too, because it's
Yeah.
not like a piano. A piano, you have middle C. That's it. The scales are it.
Mm-hmm.
Drums. Everybody's drum set is different. You know, it's like when you ride somebody else's bicycle, it
Yeah.
feels weird. It's the same thing when you get on somebody else's drums. You know, it's cool.
Of course. Great.
I think
Yeah.
I think if we were all the same, it'd be boring. You know.
And talking about hard things, how hard was it for you to work with Malmsteen? No.
Well, there's a lot I could say. Uh, it was 2 years,
Uh-huh.
and it was strange, but I think everybody knows the stories that is difficult to work with. You know, it's I don't really understand why he's like that, but he's definitely one of a kind. There's only one
Mhm.
Ingve, that's for sure.
Thanks God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if I may say something nice about him, he is a great guitar player,
Yeah. Yeah, of
uh,
course.
and he wrote some great songs. When I was in the band, I was allowed to do a drum solo, and I saw the world. I did a good tour with him, and but the record was not easy to make. And in between, like when you're off stage, and this was the difficult time. You know, I'm not much of a drinker. I'm not a drug guy. I'm a very healthy guy. I'm like working out. I drink water. I do drink once in a while, but I don't like to be drunk, especially not every night. So when you're working in that environment, things tend to get a little bit
Mhm.
strange, you know, especially if you're 100% sober. You know, have you been in
Yeah.
those situations? Okay, so you can imagine, you know, if you mix this strange behavior with drugs and alcohol day after day after day, month after month,
Mhm.
year after year, you start
Mhm.
to get tired. You get tired of it, you know. It's like I think he has a problem with respecting other musicians in his band, and that's not cool.
Mhm.
I've had my own band, and when I run the band, I always keep that in mind. That you know, treat everybody the way I'd like to be treated, and things go a lot smoother, and it's more fun.
Yeah.
It
Totally.
has to be. It has to be fun. You know, that's why I started doing this. If I wanted to get a job, and have someone scream at me and give me orders, well, I can
Mhm.
go do that and probably make more money,
Of course. You
you
know,
know?
uh, there's something that always was incredible for me talking about you
Yeah.
is the different
That's
kind
true.
of the different kind of music you can play. Let's say I don't know, Tarja, Vision
Yeah.
Divine, Avalanche now,
Yeah.
Axel Rudy Pell. I don't know how long, was a
Yeah.
very long time.
15
Rage,
years. Rage. Yeah.
uh, Tony McAlpine, I guess.
Yeah. Tony McAlpine. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. There are so many different styles, and
Yeah.
you can do it like you always been doing the same, and that's incredible. Is there some
Thank you.
kind of genre you like the most?
Well, you know, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And when I was a kid, I had my drum set there, my little drum set, and I had the stereo speaker, a big 15-inch speaker. And I'd play the radio. And whatever came on the radio was what I would play. So one minute it was Led Zeppelin, Then it was
Mm-hmm.
Creedence Clearwater. Then it was like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, the Carpenters. I played to pop music, the Monkees. Remember those guys?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, with the Monkees.
Yeah.
I played.
Yeah.
I and you know what's funny is there's a drummer by the name of Hal Blaine, and he had a group of session musicians that were called the Wrecking Crew. And Hal Blaine was playing drums on all those records. Frank Sinatra, Strangers in the Night, Mamas and the Papas, uh, um, Beach Boys, the Monkees,
Mm-hmm.
all these pop songs that I was playing to was the
Mm-hmm.
same drummer, Hal Blaine. So I can thank Hal Blaine for the way I learned to keep a beat because he was like the most, I think he's in the Guinness World Book of Records for the most recorded drummer in the history of the world. He's if he's on just about every pop song imaginable, all the Beach
Uh-huh.
Boys stuff, and he can tell a lot of crazy stories as well. But he's no longer alive, unfortunately. But I grew up playing drums to Hal Blaine or to then I got into Kiss, Peter Criss, the Cat Man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Peter Criss. He really I loved Kiss. I love that first Kiss Alive record.
Oh yeah,
Uh, yeah, and
great,
I saw Kiss open up for Black Sabbath in 1974, I believe.
great.
And
Great.
I never saw anything like that before. So then I saw Rush. I saw Rush playing a bar, Caressa Steel Tour. That changed my life. After that, I said, okay, I have to play drums. So I think being exposed to all these musical styles when I was a young guy and playing along to them opened my mind and my ears for that kind of music. I love bossa nova music. I love Latin music. I love jazz. I love rock. I love fusion. My father always listened to Frank Sinatra in the house. I'm a big Sinatra freak. We used to hear the Harry James Orchestra, big band swing music. It was always good music going around. And then when I was younger, from about 18 to 22 years of age, I was playing in cover bands, and we had to play everything. Huey
Uh-huh.
Lewis and the News, the Pretenders, U2, whatever, Van Halen, whatever was on the radio. Oh
Uh-huh.
my God, I saw Van Halen in 1977. I saw that first
Ooh,
tour.
incredible.
How
That,
old
that,
are you? How old?
52.
52. Okay, so
Uh,
you're behind me.
uh, 1977. It must be Van Halen 2, maybe
No, it's Van Halen one.
one.
It was it was Ronnie Montrose, Open Fire. First it was Van Halen, then it was Ronnie Montrose, and then Journey played.
Ooh, great.
It was incredible. All the drummers did drum solos. So I've seen AC/DC a bunch of times with Bon Scott.
Uh-huh.
So I think that had an effect on me. The 70s was a great time for music. Uh, just a lot of showmanship. We had bands like the Tubes. Remember a rock band, a heavy metal band called Angel?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw these guys live. It was incredible. It was a magic show. The production was amazing. It was really a fantastic concert. It was cool.
Mike, Mike, do you think we don't have that generation with so much personality, we could say?
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Well, people don't leave the house anymore. I mean, I used to go to 5 or 6 concerts a week.
Uh-huh.
A concert ticket was like $7. A concert T-shirt was $10,
Mm-hmm.
$12. It was cheaper. There was more bands on the road. There was record companies that used to put the bands on the road.
Mm-hmm.
People used to buy records. That's all gone. So yeah, you can't really blame the young people because they're growing up in this. We're in this box now. We're on the internet, so the
Mm-hmm.
internet is their outlet for their music. It's their showcase for their talent, you know. But it wasn't like that when I was younger. We had to go out in the club. You had to
Yeah.
travel,
You know,
drive all night.
I was talking to JJ, Twisted Sister,
Oh
and
yeah,
and and he told me they when they were an underground band, we could say, they were playing maybe 4, 5, 6 times a night.
yeah. A
That's
night.
why,
Oh, different sets. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and he said that this is why this nowadays bands doesn't have the same feeling because they don't play live. They rehearsal and no
That's
playing
true.
with people in front.
That's true. I'll tell you what, I remember playing in clubs in New York, and we used to play 4 sets a night.
Hmm.
I think 1 hour or 45 minutes, I think 1 hour. So we played about 4 hours a night. And you'd play one set and you'd cool off and you'd get cold and the dressing room would be cold. Then you'd have to go back up and play and your muscles would be like, and I remember sometimes getting into a fight, walking through the crowd, trying to get to the stage. Because as the night would go on, the people would get more and more drunk. Like, who are you? You hippie. It's like, hey, I'm in the band. I'm going, oh, all right, go on up there. Because sometimes, I remember, I grew up in Western New York, Buffalo, New York. We used to play some clubs on an Indian reservation.
Uh-huh.
It was crazy. The Blues Brothers, where you see the chicken wire?
Uh-huh.
I played in clubs like that, where people would throw bottles and stuff. So I think when you're playing on stage and your band sucks, back in the 70s, you found out about it very quickly.
Uh-huh.
Someone throw a drink, or I've been in bands where they turned off the power.
Really?
Your show, yeah, go home. You suck. What? Why? We practiced. Go home. Here's a case of beer. Get the hell out of my bar.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't good. I mean, I have to honestly say, maybe the club owner was right, but we were trying. We were out in front of people trying, making mistakes and trying to get better. And kids can't do that now, which is kind of sad because it was fun. It was fun to be on stage and try to find out what's going on. I've done many drum solos all over the world. And after 40 years, I know what works and I know what doesn't work. I know what people want to see. People, they want to impact, they want some, they worked all week, man. People worked all week. They had a couple of beers. Yeah, smash it. They want to see somebody hit them.
Yeah.
It's fun. Really, the whole thing. People, I think what's wrong today, maybe people are taking this too seriously, but rock and roll, it's entertainment. It's a circus. It's a circus.
Yeah.
If you want to read about the 70s rock and roll, read Steven Tyler's book, Does the Noise in My Head Bother You? The singer for Aerosmith. Wow.
Of course.
They were living it, brother. Those guys really, they've been on the road forever.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that guy can still sing. Steven Tyler can still sing his ass off and move, too. So look at Mick Jagger.
Uh-huh.
These guys are rock and roll legends. They're heroes. They're icons, man. You think Keith Richards is worried about COVID?
Great.
No way, man. I'm not going to kill Keith Richards.
Yeah. if he's not dead till now.
Keith, no, he's going to outlive everybody for sure.
These kind of things are over now.
Yeah.
It seems to be that people doesn't have even funny things to tell.
No, because when you go out on the road with a band, oh God, I can tell you one time I did a Tony McAlpine tour, the first tour I ever did with Tony for a record, the only record he did with vocals. I think maybe the first record he did with vocals, called Eyes of the World. And we toured for 4 months in a mobile home in a Winnebago. 15 guys in a Winnebago. I'm surprised that I came home alive, because people were driving and falling asleep and drinking, and it was girls inside, and people would ride with us. I mean, it was crazy, really, when I think about it now. The way I work now and the way I was working then, it was totally different. And but you know what? It was good memory. It was a lot of fun, and we weren't making a lot of money. And at the time, Tony's manager was a gentleman by the name of Cliff Bernstein. You know who that is?
I don't know.
Cliff Bernstein, Q Prime Management, was the manager of Def Leppard and Metallica and Queensryche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
no,
yeah, so many crazy things happened on that tour, between the band, between the people that came to see us, just crazy. It was funny. And fun.
Mike, when sometimes when I talk to younger musicians,
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing bad, but they don't have these kind of stories because they don't live this kind of things.
Yeah, I saw one young band talking on the internet a couple of days ago, and all they talked about was like, yeah, our new single's out, and this is for all the haters. We showed those haters. It's like, what is it? What haters? You're not even famous yet. I mean, I'm from New York. Everybody hates everybody. Who cares? You just gotta go for it, man. I mean, only now on the internet we have all the keyboard warrior. You stink. You're not good. I don't like you. Blah, blah, blah. I live with my mother. I'm 40 years old. Whatever. I mean, fuck off. I mean, you don't make music like, we're going to show all the haters. Why don't you just go out there and make music and have fun?
Yeah.
Mix it up. But I've also been accused of being on the road and having too much fun. I like to sound check. If I'm going to go to sound check, I'm going to check the sound. Okay? You brought me out of my hotel room. I was in a nice hotel room, right? I was relaxing with the Wi-Fi, and you brought me to the sound check. There's my drums. What am I going to do? I'm going to play those motherfuckers. And everyone's like, do you mind calming down? I say, hey, man, I'm checking my shit. I'm going to do a drum solo tonight. And you are not. You're just standing there playing power chords, dude.
This is something I don't even understand. These haters and likes and views.
Horrible. It's horrible. But that's how the young guys grow up with. They grow up with this evil shit. We didn't have this shit. This thing is dangerous, man. This thing is dangerous. This thing has ruined more marriages and relationships. This is a tracking device. In the 70s, nobody knew who the fuck I was. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm opening up to tell you the truth. But getting back to this story, when I sit down, I was checking my shit, and I was like, I'm checking my stuff, and I'm smiling. I'm happy. I'm happy when I play my drums because it sounds good. I hear it in the PA. It's loud, nice stage, checking the shit, And then this guitar player, who shall remain nameless for now. I don't want to be sued for slander. I don't want him to come back and hate me and write me a hate mail. But he came over to me and he comes over with his guitar and he's like with his hair and he's like, thanks, Mike. Thanks for that. And I'm like, no, he said, thank you. And I said, fuck you. And I kept it. And that's why I got thrown out of high school.
And from some bands, maybe.
Too many fucking rules, man. Too many rules. I mean, look at a band like The Who. Who was the drummer for The Who? Keith Moon.
Keith Moon.
You think Keith Moon was following rules and regulations? Hell no. He was breaking every fucking rule. Every rule. And that's why he was rich and famous. And then you have the guy who's in sound check.
Yeah.
Waiting in sound check. Is it time for me? Boom, ta, boom, ta. Okay, take me back to my room. Call me when it's time to perform. Boring.
I was a few years ago in backstage, and I'm not gonna say the name of the band, but
because you're gonna get hate.
A world famous band, and we see a guy coming in. I don't know how to say, kind of bicycle, but for kids.
A tricycle, a big wheel.
A small tricycle. And
Nice. I like it.
there was a thing made up to. It's not a stair with no scales. The guy were going out to the stage with the face. We couldn't see the face. We should show the hands so they can see. We have no camera. We couldn't look
Uh,
at the guy. This is the sound check. We were surprised. We said, "This is a rock star. What kind of guy is this?"
I don't know, man. People get crazy. Did you just look me in the eye? I told you never look me in the eye.
Yeah, something like that.
Yesterday, I saw Kanye West getting out of a limousine,
Uh-huh.
and one of the guys taking the picture, the paparazzi, said, "Hello, Kanye," and he's like, "Don't you talk to me. Don't you talk to me. Don't you talk to them. Don't you talk to anyone in my family. Never, ever talk to me." It's like the guy
Oh,
said hello. Take it easy, man. But I mean, yeah, all these rules and regulations backstage is boring, especially after the show. It's a bunch of guys in their underwear trying to dry off, and you don't want to go back there. It
oh,
used to be fun. It used to be fun, but
okay, Mike. I told you 20 minutes, and we're on
no,
40.
it's okay. I'm enjoying it because you speak good English,
Well,
really good.
you know,
If you have another question, ask me. I'm on a roll. I'm having fun.
what do you remember about playing with Taria here? You were playing with, I guess, with some Argentinian guys, guitar player,
Hmm.
Julian Barrett. Do you know him?
Actually, I don't remember a damn thing. I was high on crack and cocaine for the past 7 years.
Okay.
I was smoking crack. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. You ever know? Anyway, I've never done cocaine in my life. Kids, don't do cocaine. It's bad
Uh-huh.
for your heart. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I've got a lot of friends of mine back in the day when cocaine was a fashionable drug. And at the age when they all hit 50, they all had a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
Yeah.
automatic heart attack. So, anyway, I remember playing in Argentina. And I remember playing with Tadia. Yeah, and it was always a wonderful, wonderful experience. We played in what's that? What's the name of that big club?
Luna Park.
Luna Park. Fantastic place. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah. But that's all. I just remember. I only remember doing my drum solo because
Great.
that's all I care about. No, I'm kidding. No, it was a nice audience. The audience is fantastic. And of course, I think Tadia was living there, still living there at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
And you work with another uh, man that, so they say, is hard. Il Dictatore, Olaf Thorsen, Vision Divine.
Olaf Torsten. They say he's hard to work with?
Yeah, I talked
Really?
to him once, and he was really, really nice. And his
Yeah.
laugh, he was laughing. He calls himself Il Dictatore, the
Uh-huh.
dictator.
No, I never had any problems with Olaf. No. He's always friendly.
Great, great. And
Yeah.
Avalanche.
Yeah.
How do you end up in Avalanche?
Sorry?
Avalanche. How do
Yes.
you get into that band?
How did I get into the band?
Mhm.
One day I was sitting at home after I had parted ways with Tadia, and I was sitting at home. It was in the winter. It was in my house, and I got an email from Paulo Barone, who's a promoter in Brazil, and he asked me if I knew the band. I said no, and then he put me in touch with Alberto Rionda.
Mm-hmm.
And Alberto sent me an email, and we started talking, and then he sent me the music, and that's when we redid Angel Kaido. So I think I've done 2 records and 1 DVD with the band, and we're getting ready to do another record. We were supposed to do some shows in June, but they were canceled. It's really crazy.
Uh-huh.
How are things over there? Is it closed?
Oh, everything is closed. It's yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It's
Ridiculous. So
very, very hard time.
maybe 2022.
Maybe if
20,
we're lucky.
maybe,
If
maybe
we're
not.
lucky.
Who knows?
I know. Maybe in USA things are faster. You got Lollapalooza and things like that this year.
I don't live in America. I live in Europe.
Ah,
I'm in Italy
yeah,
right now.
you're in
Yeah.
Italy.
So we're under quarantine.
But
Curfew. I have to be home at 10:30 at night because I could get into trouble with that virus. After 10:30, the virus comes.
great. I'm gonna ask you to choose. In total would be four songs, but I need you to choose two songs and then two more songs to play during this interview. What would you choose?
Okay. Oh,
Uh, the first place, two songs, whatever you want.
songs that I recorded on, or song music that I like.
You can choose. I was thinking about your stuff, but feel free.
Ah, I could be the DJ.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Do you have access to a wide library of songs? I guess. Oh God, I don't know. You can play Space Boogie by Jeff Beck.
Uh huh.
You know that
Surprise.
one?
You surprised me. Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
you can play a song. You can play another song by a guy by the name of Pat Travers called "Makes No Difference" live. Do you know it?
Yeah.
With Tommy Aldridge on drums.
Let me tell you, you surprised me.
I would rather listen to that than the stuff that I recorded.
Well, two more.
Two more. Then you can play "Do You Love Me?"
Oh,
Kiss. "Do You
yeah.
Love Me?" I love that song.
Great.
And then you can play one other cool rock and roll song. What could it be? What could it be? Um, you can play "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Great song. Yeah,
I'd be a good DJ, huh? That's good
but
shit.
but you really surprised me. Yeah, really.
Why? Why? You think I'm
Because
gonna say?
I thought you would choose something of your stuff in the first place, and
Ah,
great, really great.
no.
I
There's so
really
much
thank
good
you.
music. Thank
I
you.
really thank you so much for your time, and it was really nice to talk to you, and an honor to have you on my radio show.
Yeah. Nice talking to you too. It was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. Well, the last thing I ask you, and I'll leave you alone.
I
I
already
can,
am alone.
I can give you, if you want, can't, and things like that. Could you please record some kind of greeting, we could say, for our radio station, where you say your name. The radio station is Espectro FM. Can I write it to
Espectro
you?
FM.
Can I
Yeah, I
write to
think.
you?
Yeah, Espectro FM.
Espectro FM. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
FM. The name of the city is Corrientes, and the country Argentina.
Corriente.
Corrientes. Sí, yeah.
Corrientes.
The
Mi español es muy malo.
no,
Corrientes.
is a sound that so complicated for the rest of the word.
Corrientes.
Oh, perfect. You say it better than
Corrientes.
me.
Y estudio español en la escuela para 2 años.
Great. Well, obviously, I need you to say your name and whatever you want to say to Spectrum FM
I
listeners in
forgot my name.
Corrientes.
Okay. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Mike Terrana, drummer extraordinaire, and you're listening to Espectro FM, Corrientes, Argentina.
It couldn't be better.
I'm a professional.
You say Corrientes better than I.
Corrientes. I like to say Cordoba.
Córdoba.
Remember the actor Ricardo Montalban. And he used to talk about the Ford LTD, the interior, fine Corinthian leather. This guy was a good actor. I don't know where Ricardo Montalban is from. I have to Google that, but I don't know if he was Spanish.
Spanish or Mexican? I don't know.
Hold on a second, I gotta know because this guy was cool.
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban. The coolest movie he ever made was the Star Trek, where he was Khan, the Wrath of Khan. Remember that?
Yeah.
He was cool in that movie.
Great actor.
Here he is. Yeah, there he is as the Wrath of Khan guy. See him there? Right there. There.
Where I can read it. Where is he from?
Okay. He's Mexican.
Yeah, Mexican. I told you.
I didn't know. He's from born in Mexico.
Yeah.
Incredibile. Incredible.
Yeah. Okay, Mike. Thank you very much, man. It was really nice to talk to you.
Nice talking to you too, brother.
Okay. Goodbye, man. Have a nice day. Take care.
Ciao, you too. Ciao, ciao.